South Africa remains in limbo on the extradition of the Guptas. The NPA says UAE authorities haven't responded to repeated requests for information needed. The extradition request was turned down by a UAE court in February. This was after the court established that on the charge of money laundering, the crime in question was alleged to have been committed in the UAE and South Africa, and federal laws of the UAE state that an extradition can be denied because that country has the jurisdiction to prosecute the crime. Both Atul and Rajesh Gupta are facing allegations of looting billions of rand through state capture.
We have been trying very, very hard to find out some very basic things, like what was the problem with our extradition request? We've not had satisfactory responses from the UAE. We've been trying to set up a meeting with, I've never traveled to the UAE, but with regard to this case, set up a meeting with the National Director and the Head of the Prosecuting Authority in the UAE in order for us to understand this. And I know him personally because of our involvement in the International Association of Prosecutors. We've not been able to schedule that meeting for months. Now we decided as the NPA executive that we needed the president of this country to intervene with the ruler of the UAE, because we realized that unless there isn't that strong political push in the UAE, we're going to struggle with this matter.
Batohi says a decade of state capture has severely hampered the NPA's growth trajectory. However, great strides have been made in dealing with cases of corruption amid calls for accountability.
We've restrained and preserved more than 14 billion of state capture assets. 6.12 billion was confiscated and forfeited to the state. That means money in the bank. And 6.26 billion, which includes the ABB case, as well as the SAP case, has been recovered in total.
The institution has dispelled reports that it's failing to prosecute those implicated in corruption. It has also disputed giving five-star treatment to the former Speaker of the National Assembly.
This is completely wrong. I've been a prosecutor for almost 30 years, and many of the colleagues here are the same. In many of these cases involving white-collar criminals, you often make, as a prosecutor, we make arrangements with the lawyers acting for the suspect to bring the suspect to court. So this is not unusual, and we'll continue to do this. The Coco matter was enrolled, yes, and the NPA has been heavily criticized for what happened in court. In fact, if you look at a lot of the criticism in terms of why people say the NPA is not able to do its work, it's primarily focused on three matters, and correct me if I'm wrong. Primarily on the Coco matter, on the New Lane matter, and the Gupta extradition.
Batohi has added that almost 700 government officials have been convicted for corruption in the last 5 years. Mulimo wa Onemotwa, SABC News, Pretoria.